Good evening and welcome to Odyssey, a journey of life. I'm Dr. Srilata from Bangalore and we have a very versatile and eminent personality today. He is none other than Mr. M.P. Ramkumar. Welcome to our show, Mr. Ramkumar.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all your viewers.
Yeah. I would like to tell few things about Mr. Ramkumar. He's a very nice and gentle person, and he is a former vice president and R&D of Region Powertech Private Limited. Not only that, he's an eco-friendly consultant, and he's a natural farmer too. And before I start, I would like Mr. Ramkumar to tell something about himself. A warm welcome to you, sir. Please, the platform is yours.
Well, I was basically a scientist in DRDO, and later I shifted to renewable energy area, wind and
Okay.
solar. And when we were in the wind and solar field, both in India, in Germany, as well as in Chennai,
Okay.
where I was working,
Uh-huh.
we actually, personally, I had a lot of interest in agriculture from childhood, but
Okay.
never tried. How did I get this interest? Because when we used to go to my birthplace called Hindupur, when I was a school kid, my
Okay.
grandfather used to take me to his farm. So
Okay.
those memories were in my mind. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought I should become a natural farmer sometime in my life. So
That's nice.
when we were,
Very
yeah,
interesting.
when I was in a corporate world, the corporate world is very tough life, and morning to evening, you don't know the timings, and a lot of pressure, all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So that time I used to take off once or twice in a year and visit
Okay.
most successful natural farmers in India. I used to stay
Okay.
with them, learn from them, work with
Oh,
them. So like this, these things I started sometimes in 2007 or 8. Every year I used to go to either to Gujarat or MP or to Karnataka or to Andhra, many places we
okay.
visited. This
Okay.
is how I started developing the interest in natural farming. And another thing is natural farming is very important because today the way the farming is done is a disaster. So
Very true.
I would not like to go to this so-called green revolution farming, which is basically destroyed the India environment, everything, water,
Okay.
land, air, everything is polluted. This is
Okay.
one aspect.
Yeah, before going
Similarly,
to natural
yeah,
farming and other things, sorry to
mm,
interrupt you.
yeah,
Uh, since you were in the corporate field for a long time, very long time, and
yes.
what was your challenges in the corporate field?
Yeah,
Any example? With the example, can you tell us so that the
yeah,
viewers can know more much about you and about the corporate world.
yeah. In the corporate world, no doubt everything looks hunky dory, but it is not so. Basically, what happens is the targets are very stiff, and you will have to meet those targets with the resources which are not normally not sufficient enough. So
Okay.
but at the same time, we cannot question the resources. So within the given resources or lack of resources, you have to achieve the target. That is one of the toughest challenges we found in the corporate world. Second thing
Okay.
is uh, life for the family is always secondary in corporate. But wherever there is a work, you'll have to stay with them, meetings, evenings, nights, and lack of exercise, lack of exposure to sunlight, which is a very critical for human health, and a lack of a life in where you have a peace. I mean, you should be able to
As we
as and when you like, not as and when somebody likes.
Okay. Okay. That you're a nature
These
lover
are the
too.
basic challenges which I found personally, and I thought
Okay.
somehow I should
get out of this and do a job or do a activity which I am independent. I am the boss.
Okay, okay, okay. And what was your contribution in your corporate world since you were vice president in a big
Yeah.
company?
Yeah, I was actually in two companies. Basically, one was Enercon India, Enercon Germany, and
Okay,
that company was world famous in wind turbines. So
okay.
there, my main contribution is how to make the wind turbines, electronics or electrical things suitable to
Mm.
India, because these are all
Oh,
meant for Germany, German technology. So we used to interact regularly, visit and stay there, work for 3 months, 6 months in Germany, and tell them that look, these are the challenges in India. Like for example, in India, the power grid is never stable. Whereas in Germany, the grid is 100% stable. A machine
okay.
works wonderfully when the grid is stable. It will not work very good when the grid is unstable. So how to make the machine work well even in India? That was
Okay.
my main contribution in Enercon India and Enercon Germany.
Oh,
Coming
that's
to
really
Region
nice.
PowerTech, which is a
Hmm.
startup, from day one, I joined as head of R&D,
Okay.
first as vice president, then I retired as senior vice president. So
Wow.
here, I have seen the growth of the company from zero to very good level. Of course, now
Oh,
the
that's
company has some issues, but when we left, the company was doing very well. And from one person, that is myself as R&D head, I had a team of 45 people in R&D,
okay, okay, okay.
and mostly we were working on wind turbine and solar and integration of wind and solar.
Okay, but you said the power consumption, power problem in Germany, in India it is more, but compared to Germany. But how did you overcome it, and what did you bring to bring some changes in your company?
So your voice is still again became low.
Okay, no,
So I'm
but
trying to hear as much as possible.
yeah,
Well, the basic thing is that there is a lot of electronics in the wind turbine. So those
hmm.
electronics have to be fine-tuned to India.
Okay,
So
okay.
that is our main job. We call it inverter design and inverter
Uh-huh.
control. That is our main activity of our R&D. And we also remote monitoring of the wind turbine. Sitting in Chennai, sitting in Sulurpeta, I should be able to see all the wind farms all over India.
Oh, good. Uh-huh.
So these are the things we developed ourselves in India.
Since you said you were in Chennai and now I think you're in Sulurpet in Andhra. But how is that? It's Chennai is a full city based and Sulurpet is full of greenery, farms and everything. It's something like Asman Zameen ka antar hai. Then how do you find? I mean, you since you said you were from the beginning you were interested in it, apart from that, what made you switch from corporate and that busy life to be boss of your own?
Yeah.
What?
See, basically, why did we shift to Sulurpeta from Chennai is our head office, but the actual corporate, the factory and the R&D is in border. It is in Andhra, close to Sulurpeta. So I
Okay.
used to travel 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening from Chennai, which
Oh,
I
four
found it
hours.
very waste of time and waste of energy. Number one. Number two, in this process of last 15, 20 years of our journey, both myself and wife, we saw how to live eco-friendly. We had a lot of ideas in our brain. So how do we implement these ideas? In city, we cannot implement because staying in a rented house. So we
Okay.
want to implement those ideas, how to do water management, energy management, waste management, thermal management, all these things we want to do. So we want to stay close to our R&D. The same way we want to implement, not just having ideas, we have to do walk the talk. For that reason, we found Sulurpeta as more ideal because close to Chennai, close to Tirupati, and we bought a land and we built a
Oh.
house of our choice, fully, which is
Mhm.
completely eco-friendly.
Oh,
That's why we
wow.
shifted to Sulurpeta. And definitely by the time I retire, I wanted to change my line completely to farming. That was a pre-decided idea which we had in mind. Even my wife supported that idea.
That's
Children also
really
supported.
you should need a family support for this also. But
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
it's good. Everybody wants to be with the nature, but sometimes cannot do it. But it's really nice of you to take this decision to come to Sulurpet, where it is yeah, you have your own house, your own farm, everything. And why and you said it is eco-friendly, that means it is no pesticide, no chemicals on that.
Yes, when we say eco-friendly, we don't use any inorganic compounds.
Oh
No
wow.
urea, no phosphate, no potash, nothing. Number one. Number two, no pesticides, no germicides, nothing. In forest, nobody puts anything, but all the trees grows beautifully. 80 to 100 years back in India also, nobody was using any pesticides. All this came along with the Green Revolution, so-called Green Revolution. And
Mm-hmm.
by that, we say, Dharti Mata, Dharti Mata. We are giving all poison to Dharti Mata, and that fruits and vegetables we are supplying it to public. What is that we are doing? We are destroying the mother and giving useless products to people. That's why people are
Yeah.
getting sick, and then all these problems come. So we are very clear in all our natural farming, whether it is Subhash Palekar natural farming, whether it is a permaculture, whether it is Dhabolkar technique. There are many people who are uh, in this natural farming. All people are very clear that the earth should have only the microorganisms. Rest it will take care of itself. And the
Yes.
same concept in USA also many people are using now.
Yes, we should have the awareness of this, right? You're rightly said that India is an agrarian country, and since you're using the natural product for your farms, but for your fields and other things, actually we need rain. But in India, it is very abrupt that sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't come. How do you cope up with that?
With the rain, you mean?
Yeah, rain, because without water it can't survive. But
Yeah,
there
good
are
question.
nowadays this farmers, they are finding it so difficult. Either
Yeah,
it rains heavily or it doesn't rain. Then
yeah,
what about the field and other things? Not only to you, to others also. I want to ask.
yeah. Good question. Very good question. The same thing we also had in mind. Without water security, whether at home or in farm, you cannot do anything. Now, water security, how does it come? There are many ways. One is having ponds and all these things. But those open ponds and everything, there will be a lot of evaporation losses. So that is also not very good. So there is one concept called Bungru rainwater harvesting, for which I am the director for the entire South India. This concept was
Congratulations.
developed by one Mr. Biplab Ketal Pal, who is an internationally renowned water harvesting person. And
Mm-hmm.
in this concept, what we do is we don't check where there is water below the soil. We will check where there is no water below the soil
Oh.
and bring the rainwater,
Mm-hmm.
filter it, push it into
Okay.
these dry zones in the soil. Thereby,
Okay.
you will become water independent in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Just a small example in our own colony, in our
Mm-hmm.
house, we
Okay.
have a well. Okay,
Mm.
normal well, we have a bore well.
Okay.
Most of the
Okay.
people also had wells, they all got dried up, they went for bore wells. And there is a
Mm-hmm.
problem of iron content. That means the water is slightly reddish. But in
Okay.
our house, the water is
Mm.
perfect. Why? From day one, we have done the 100% rainwater harvesting. Not a drop of rainwater goes out of the house. It gets
Yes.
filtered and goes into my well. So once you harvest the rainwater properly, 99% of the problems goes. As you said, rain does not come when you want. It comes when it wants. So when
Yes.
it
Yes.
comes, you catch it, store it
You
properly,
store it?
then your problems are solved. This is number one. Number two, you have to do natural farming. When you do natural farming, the water requirement comes down drastically because we generate what is called humus. A humus is nothing but organic carbon. When you have a lot of organic carbon in the soil, the requirement of water comes down. But when you
Oh.
put all these inorganic materials like urea, phosphate, potash, it destroys the land, it kills all the microorganisms, no humus is formed, your land slowly becomes as concrete. So you need more and more and more water for the
Okay,
same
okay,
crop. So
okay.
these are the two things. One is go for bungru, second is go for natural farming. Your water requirement drastically comes down. Third is grow those crops which does not require too much water, like
Okay.
millets,
Hmm.
forest trees.
Okay.
These are the trees which does not require much water.
Oh.
So even in our own house, in front of our house, in a 40 by 60 plot, we have
Mm-hmm.
developed a dense forest within 3 years.
Oh, wow.
It gives us all the required vegetables and fruits. Just go pluck it and cook it.
Oh, very fresh. Very fresh.
Yeah, no question.
Pluck and
No, you
cook.
don't need to put it in the fridge also.
Okay, okay. But yeah, now I think even the government are saying that this one harvesting or this is good. You have to have it for the independent house as well as for rain harvesting is good. It is a compulsory. In fact, they should make it a
Yes.
compulsory. Yes, but how do you see 5 years from now? What do you what will you be in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I would like to make our Sendriya farms, which is a 5 acre farm, a model farm, so that
Okay.
the farmers all around that area, they convert themselves voluntarily into this natural farming uh, program, and big farmers produce a FPO, we call it. We would like to have a big FPO and send these non-poisonous food directly to the customers like you people in big flats at a reasonable rate, at a healthy, because once I supply poison to you people, God will not help us. So today the problem with farmers, as Mr. Subhash Palekar Padma Shri says, why farming is in a bad shape? Because we are supplying bad things to the public. When you kill a man, you will be punished.
Yeah.
We are practically killing people by giving poisonous foods. We may not kill them immediately, but slowly we are killing them. So therefore we
Right.
are in a bad shape. Moment you start giving us good food to these people directly, we will also be benefited. They also will be benefited. The people will bless us.
Yes. You're
So
rightly
that's our
saying.
target in 5 years, to have our own FPO, directly
Okay.
market our products to customers without any middlemen.
Oh, without any middleman.
Yes.
Okay. So it will be more reasonable. The prices will be more reasonable
Yeah. Price
compared
will be
to
reasonable.
what it is.
Prices will be
Yes.
very reasonable, and the customers also will get a healthy product.
Yes, like you said, the quality will be much better. Actually, nowadays we find the quantity is there, but not the quality of vegetables and
Yes.
fruits, which it was before. Yes, and yeah, you're coming back to the olden days or a few years back, how we were living. Now, because of the maybe technology and concrete jungles, it is everything is slowly abolishing. And um, now, since you said it is eco-friendly, without the chemicals and pesticides, how come the rats or ants or some insects won't it bite the vegetables and fruits? Won't it get spoiled?
Yeah, good question. Normally, what happens in a farm, these rats or bandicoots, they're all part of our life. Okay. If
Yeah,
rats
they should
come,
be.
snakes will come. Snakes
Yeah,
come, mongoose will come. These are eco this thing. And
yeah.
normally, when you do monocropping, that means if you put only one crop, your pest attack will be much higher. But if you put multi-cropping,
Hmm.
okay,
Oh,
then the pest attack will be bare minimum. Even if it pest attacks,
hmm.
there are some very simple organic pesticides
Okay,
like with neem oil, with
yes.
garlic, with
Okay,
mirchi, with
yeah.
cow urine. There are many simple techniques by which you can control the pests if at all the pests come. Okay, little amount of pests we allow because we have got something called trap plant. Suppose Agasti, Avise, in Hindi it's called
Okay.
Agastya. This Avise, Agastya tree, we put it in
Uh-huh.
different place in the farm, basically as a trap tree, because the pests will like the leaves of Agastya. They don't affect your plants.
Okay.
Similarly,
Okay.
marigold is another
Uh-huh.
excellent pest repeller.
Yes, I've heard
So
it.
like this,
Yes.
there are many natural methods by which we can repel the pest, and there are for every bad pest, at least there are 10 to 15 friendly pests. You must understand
Okay.
that. So when we have one bad pest attack, there are many other good pests. They will come and eat that.
Okay.
It is like
Okay.
when you take antibiotic, your stomach, your lactobacillus also is killed along with bad bacteria.
Yes, all
That's what
yes,
happens
all
when you do
bacteria
pesticide.
kill.
But when you use these kind of Nima, Jivamrut, Nivamrut, all these things, it doesn't kill good pests. It only kills the bad pests or
Oh,
drives
good.
away.
I would like to tell our viewers that Mr. Ramkumar is not only his naturopathy or is about pest and other animals or other for his field. He's also he doesn't recommend others for allopathy. He says in naturopathy in our food everything is there. Like just now he said about neem and black pepper. it's
Hello,
it's really
your
it's
voice is
really good
gone
for health.
completely.
It's really good for health. Okay. What would you tell our viewers about your farm and now can you hear? Is it audible? Can you hear now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes the network it goes off, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell our viewers since most of the viewers are settled in city based? They are city based and they have less place and they want to grow plants. Of course. Well, how will they manage? Of course, the roof gardening, everything is there, but still in the small place, how can they have plants and trees? I don't think so, but of course I want your opinion about it.
Yeah.
How can they manage in that small place or small 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom and a terrace, for those people, what do you suggest them?
In cities, yes, I agree that especially people living in flats cannot go for a big trees. But even roof area can be beautifully utilized. In the roof
And even in
area, uh,
balconies and even in
yeah,
balconies.
in the roof area, you can definitely plan elevated places, and
Okay.
with the old tires.
Oh.
There are many in my house. We don't throw any old tires. In our house, all the old tires are used to grow palak, tukka, amaranthus, many, and they come beautifully. Okay, so
Okay.
you can grow all these greens, because greens normally what you get in the market is very dangerous, because they use a lot of pesticides. They use urea just to show as if they are very shiny, all these things. So
Okay.
you can start with greens,
Uh-huh.
and then if you have especially a roof area, you should utilize. Thereby, two benefits you have. One is your heat will come down. Second, you will get
Hmm.
a food at least to some extent. Second is you directly have interaction with farmers like us. Suppose you have a flat, your association should call us or visit our farms and see themselves how we are growing things, and we can supply. So, for example, supplying to Bangalore is not an issue. Overnight, one night, there are buses which will take the fruit, vegetables and fruits, put it in the night. Morning, you can get it. So, like this, if you encourage the farmers directly,
Mm-hmm.
then
Okay.
also
Okay.
you will get good food, and also both will be benefited, farmers as well as the customers.
Okay. 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 One more question I just want to ask you. What has been your biggest accomplishment in your career life so far? Is it your farm or your corporate world? since you were in both the places?
Okay, well, corporate world, I had a lot of achievements. Farm, I had some problems in the beginning because I was not having my own land. I was doing on leased land, where we
Mm-hmm.
cannot do big trees. You can only do field crops like millets, groundnuts, and all these things. But now I just last 1.5 years back, we started our own farm.
Wow.
So we expect that within 3 or 4 years, this farm will become a model farm in our area, where we want to have some sort of eco-friendly buildings also, so that people can come and stay there for a couple of days during winters or summers, experience themselves how even in peak summer you can live without AC in
Haha.
a house.
Ah.
There are many ways you can build a house where you don't need AC at all, even at 43, 44 degrees. But you must come out of this rut called cement and steel.
Okay.
You don't need cement and steel to build a house. That's a wrong concept, basically.
But then the house will not be very strong.
No, no, no. House will be very strong. You see the forts, you see the temples.
Hmm.
They're all built thousands of years back. You cannot even break them. They're so strong.
Yeah.
You can build very strong buildings without cement also.
Mm-hmm.
India had the technology, and it was literally smashed
Maybe
by
we have
Britishers.
forgotten it. Maybe we have forgotten it. We have, because of the latest technology, we have forgotten all those things.
But it's
Our old.
coming back, coming back. It is
Yes.
coming back very strongly now in India. Recently, Nitin Gadkari has launched the cow dung paint,
Uh-huh.
and one Dr. Shivadarshan Malik from Rohtak near Delhi, he developed two beautiful concepts called Vedic plaster and cow dung bricks. And this Vedic plaster is last 15 years people are building houses. If you build houses with Vedic plaster, you don't need AC in your lifetime anywhere in the world.
Wow. Wow.
Rohtak
Wow.
is a very hot place. 48 degrees it goes. But in
Yeah.
his house, in his office, there is only a fan, no AC.
Yeah. Yes. 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 That's really marvelous. That's really lovely. Especially nowadays, because of the global warming. What do you think about this
Yeah.
global warming? What is your opinion about it?
Global warming.
Yeah, because
Global
nowadays
warming
everywhere
is
it's.
mainly, yeah, is a serious challenge. It's mainly because of overproduction of rice and wheat, which
Mhm.
should not happen so much, and both are not a good grains. Both rice and wheat are not good grains because the kind of rice and wheat we are growing right now is unfit to be consumed by human beings. There are some very good wheat and traditional rice varieties which hardly few people are growing. Number one. So these two are one of the major reasons for this global warming, greenhouse gas emissions, and also of course vehicular pollution. So we have to go into biogas,
Hmm.
CNG, and
Yes,
electric.
yes,
There is
I
no other
agree
way.
with that. Yes,
There is
yes,
no
yes.
other way. It's going to come in a big way. So even excess rice should go to produce of CNG. And this natural farming will bring down the global warming drastically, because a simple science is, when the land is covered with any plant, weed or any good or bad plant, it takes
Mm-hmm.
the carbon dioxide and makes it organic carbon. When the land is bald, it removes the organic carbon from the soil, makes carbon dioxide, releases in the atmosphere.
Oh,
This simple science should understand. We should never keep the land open. It should be always covered with a weed or any crop or anything. Crop burning is another big nuisance,
yes.
which is very bad, not only for air pollution, even for the
Hmm.
land. So these are the things we should avoid. We should go slowly. In our farm, we are most of the land we are doing no-till farming. Means no tilling also.
Oh,
Just
okay.
grow the crops, cut them, chop them, put it there. When you want to put a plant, that area you make a hole, put the plant. That's it. No question
Yes,
of tilling the land also. If you don't till the land, the benefits are enormous.
yes. Mr. Ramkumar is not only R&D, former R&D person, he does R&D in his farm and field also.
Yeah.
Yes. and in a simple and interesting way he has told us. Yes, it's really interesting to talk to you, and I think the viewers now would have been thinking, why not we can also start this type of growing plants, not only for oxygen, for the healthy living. Yes, it's really awakening for, I think, awakening for everybody. Of course, it's an olden days methodology that you may be using it, but now it has forgotten or it's somewhere hidden, which you have plowed it and taken it out, and you're making use of it in a very nice manner. And it's really nice talking to you, and maybe I think we should have one more session of your farm in a detailed manner.
Yeah,
It's
sure. I
and
request all of you to come and visit the farm also.
can you tell your address or give your phone number or address, something, so that they can visit your farm? Yeah, they should visit. Yes, and since it's a nice program talking to you, Mr. Ramkumar, and yeah, it's not only about, we have covered in our previous program, we have covered about the corporate people, and now that's why I really wanted to talk to you about this, so that people can know more about it. And yes, we have got we do get some feedback, so that's why I'm forwarding this. You can write to this address, drsrilatasuresh@gmail.com, for more details and more information about Mr. Ramkumar and about this program. And nice talking to you, Mr. Ramkumar. It was really a
Thank
nice.
you.
Yes, thank you. Since you are,
And I tell you one thing before ending,
yeah.
the life in the farm is far better than corporate life. I regret why I did not leave the corporate 10 years before.
Okay, better late than never. Yeah, at least you're come now, and I think for the past how many years you are doing this?
From 2016.
Okay, for
I
the past
retired in
4 years.
June
5 years.
2016. July, I
Okay.
started farming.
Oh, good. For in the past 4 years, you have done a lot of R&D, lot of this one in your. How many? What all plants you have grown in your field?
Well, the plantation is very mixed. We have 2 acres of agroforestry,
Okay.
mahogany and lemon and other things. And half acre we have multi-layer vegetable farming. And 1.5 acre we have what is called Subhash Palekar multi-layer 5-layer farming with all horticulture. About 20 cents reserved for traditional rice like red rice, black rice, mapela samba, khichdi samba, all these things. About 25 cents we are planning to grow bamboo, sandalwood and other things. So in 5 acres, all these things will be there.
Oh, wow! That's
And
really
there is a
nice.
pond. There is a pond. There is one big neem tree, which is my office. Below the neem tree is my office. It's very shady, very pleasant, and very
Very
breezy.
cool.
Very
Okay,
cool.
okay. Yeah. Since I am a poet, I would say that the in the greenery you can talk to the wind, you can feel the wind, you can say a lot to the wind, and it is really pleasant to be in that place. Yes.
Yeah, very pleasant.
And really, I should say that you are a natural farmer than a corporate person. And
Thank
with the
you.
note, with this pleasant note, it's nice that we have you in our platform, and it's nice talking to you. And thank you, viewers. Thank you, and welcome for the next episode. That is the 5th episode. We'll be having one more special guest with some other qualities, some other
Yeah.
skills. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Nice
Thank you.
talking to you.